Hey, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? We're so glad you're here. Tonight, I mean, look, you know I love all my shows. We have the time of our lives. But tonight is so special. So special that you're going to be spoiled. You're going to be spoiled. We have such a special guest that you're going to say, oh my God, I know her. You know who she is? Louise Sorel. Oh my goodness, I am beside myself with joy. So tonight is Tuesday, May 9th, 2023. We are in such a good place, I believe, astrologically. And look, speaking of astrologically, Dee from Dee's Enlightened Edits has joined us, our friend Danielle. She is a spiritual medium, an astrologer, tarot, a teacher, a spiritual guide. I had a quantum session with Danielle where it was mind-blowing, and she speaks to the other side, and some of you might think that's crazy. I don't. Let me tell you something. My experience was mind-blowing. So, and it just changed and just realigned everything, and I can't thank Danielle enough. And it's just beautiful. So if you are interested in being enlightened and perhaps communicating with people that you love, Danielle's your girl. Danielle is your girl. So she is our friend. She's joined us. Hey, Maria and Leo, happy Tuesday. First one in, Danielle. Second one in, my cousin Rena Crignali-Bergi from Massachusetts. Rena, I will see you next Thursday in Boston at the show. And I'm going crazy. I'm so excited. Now, let me see who else we have. Annette Zito.
Was that the weather girl? Was that the weather girl?
Yes. Rena Crignali-Bergi, my cousin, who Leo calls the weather girl. She always fills us in. Well, you know, Massachusetts weather is always changing, Leo, as you know. So Rena fills us in. And then Annette Zito, chef extraordinaire from Annette's Oscar Menus, as we know. Also, she runs a produce company. She's an amazing cook. I love her calendar, by the way.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. It's got all these recipes on it. Annette knows what's going on. Annette, I sent you an invitation. I think you RSVP'd. I will see you on the 22nd.
I mean, I have her calendar on my wall, but, you know, I have my other calendar closed.
Well, we have many calendars. So speaking of calendars, we have Annette Zito's calendar in our kitchens and the beautiful foods and recipes she's created. And then What's the Story with Maria, of course, has its own calendar called Nothing But the Apron, because you know we have aprons that we sell, and our friends from around the country pose, as my sister put it, only you could get people to take their clothes off for no money. I said I didn't ask them to.
They asked us.
They asked us. And then Leo beautifully artistically directs it and created this calendar. So I know you have to fan yourself. Lucas Ferdlin, a beautiful ballet dancer from the Oakland Ballet, is our May I was going to say centerfold. Our May model of the apron. He is showing off one of his extensions, and he's always working on some beautiful piece with the Oakland Ballet. We want to thank Lucas. He is a Gemini like me, by the way. Oh. So we'll have to have him back on soon, since it is his birthday month.
And there's a lot of pictures he's been posting. A lot of stuff going on out there.
He's amazing. Did I just see Heather Hooten? Let me see. Heather Hooten, I think my neighbor from next door, but now she lives in Texas. She's an amazing actress and singer. Okay, so a lot of our friends have joined us now.
Towers is
Oh my God, how much do we love Lori Towers? Leo, you are a connoisseur of Lori and John's work. I mean, I listen to, but you are a fan.
We have
You're a fan girl.
The underground fan club that gets to, on WFMU.org, the radio station. on Sheena's Jungle Room, or they come on with Beneath the Underground every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. till the witching hour. Yeah, I got it right. I want to make sure I got it right. But we have a little family that gets to chat now in their little room, kind of like how we started back in the day. And
I love it.
So much fun, so much history, so much great poetry and stuff that they play. It's wonderful. I've even heard a powerful artist at the end of the month, they do Eccentric Behavior, Strong Women.
I love it. Well, Lori, that's Lori.
Yeah, well, she's definitely a big bass player. But I also heard another woman, very strong woman I know on that station. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Lynn Porter's Genius.
Lynn Porter's Genius as well.
I was with
Maria Gentili.
Well, I got to tell you, Lynn, I was with Lynn yesterday. We're rehearsing for the show, and we had more fun than we should have had. And we really did. And we recorded a lot of it. And I got to tell you, because I'm, working on new stuff. And I played it back in the car, and I said, this is going to be a good show. And what I mean by that, look, we both sing. We're both musicians. Well, I'm going to tell a lot of stories. We're both, we love to tell stories. We're both Italian. But it's going to be a love fest between the audience and the performers, because so many of the people that are coming to the show, all the people that are coming to the show, I know they're either my friends or family from different parts of my life. And it's going to be beautiful. But I want to get back to Lori Towers, because she does the Jungle Room, and she also does Jazz Just After Dark with John. Her husband, who's amazing. They're musical historians, they're journalists, they're musicians, and I think
a lot of fun.
They're so much fun. Oh my God! And I think last night, if I'm not mistaken, at local 802, which John, is a bigwig over there, and he's done so much to revitalize that union. They had a great jazz and poetry performance. I saw pictures, and John read some of his stuff. John's an incredible writer.
His poetry is really great.
It's beautiful. So, and I love they underscore it with jazz.
A couple of weeks ago, they actually performed, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, they performed at Birdland. John got to read at Birdland, and I shared that. I was, All About Love got to perform at Birdland with the Jim Caruso party, so I had to share that with my brother.
Leo, that's so great. That is so great. Your song. Yeah, that's your musical. Broken Moments.
And John got to read with jazz in the back, which, jazz is the mother lode of
all. And you know that, I mean, you probably do know, and Lori and John know this, but a lot of people don't know, jazz is the truest American music form. So it's the one thing, because everything else that we have in the United States came from somewhere else, right? Because we're the newest, we're the kids, really, of the world. And so everything was influenced by people that migrated here. But jazz, they say, is the one true American form of music. So I just
put together with you have prayers and connections of the slaves that were throwing messages to each other. You have influences of Jewish prayer mixed together in this beautiful, another great documentary by Ken Burns, if you really want to know and have the patience for an 8-part history-filled, beautiful storytelling.
I love it.
There's another documentary for you. I just finished the country music one, so I'm all about the.
I love documentaries. Documentaries to me are like that. I mean, that's what they should play a lot of that in school too. I remember certain teachers of mine were pretty amazing that way, and always showed us little films and things like that. And I learned so much.
Have you ever seen the New York documentary? That's also a Burns family. It's his brother, not Ken Burns, but his brother did it. They worked on it together, and it's 8 from the beginning of New York,
really,
up until the Twin Towers, and it
I'll
is so detailed. The village, the freeway that was supposed to go through the village that didn't go through the village, everything, just beautiful. Ken Burns has done a service for our country, I believe.
Yes, you know what? That's a person that should get a medal of.
And he's so sweet. I've gotten to meet him. He's really sweet. Yeah, in Brooklyn.
How cool, Leo. Maybe we can have him on sometime. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Ooh, that would be fun to reach out.
Yeah, okay. Well, listen. I don't want to take up any more time here. Okay, so we have our regulars in. Mandar has joined. Now, Mandar, And Marty G, oh my God, Marty G, amazing sax and clarinet player. Marty, I'm so happy to see you here. Don't anybody, Michael Barberi has joined us, don't anyone move or go anywhere. But I will, because our guest is going to blow your mind. She's so amazing and sweet and smart and just, I love her already. We had a few phone conversations. I'm crazy about her. Now, Mandar, I'm talking to you. If this was my class and I was your teacher, I'm going to say something, Mandar. You better behave yourself. No racy comments, because we have an amazing actress, writer, personality.
Mandar, trouble.
Yeah, Mandar, you're in trouble. And we want to have her on. We're going to have the best time. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, because you are going to know who she is. Even if you say, who? I don't recognize that name. You're going to recognize her face, because she has been in your life for a long time.
Oh, my goodness.
Like it or not, there she is. Pop her in, Leo.
Dum, dum, dum.
Louise Sorel.
Hello.
Welcome to our show, Louise.
Thank you.
So the reason I say she's been in your life is because, Louise, you know, sometimes we all go about our business and people don't always know actors' names or things like that. But they know when they see someone, they're like, oh my God, I know that person. And it's almost like as if people walked by you on the street, they would think they personally knew you. So, Leo, talk about this, please.
This is Raina from Star Trek.
From Star Trek. And Louise, I heard you said that this was the first season of Star Trek, right?
Yes.
And I love what you said, that you folks didn't even really know where it was going.
Oh, no. They had no idea. They were laughing because, you know, it was on a toy set. You know, what children would fantasize about. Little things running around and things floating over your head. And it was, where are we? And look what happened. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he really did. And you said that you had worked with Bob Shatner before, right?
No, that would be Bill.
Bill, I'm sorry. But you worked with a few people that were on that. That's how you knew everyone already, right?
I knew, Bill, because we had played husband and wife on a Route 66, I think.
Right.
So I knew Bill, and, you know, I couldn't look at him without laughing because he's got you can see his face. It looks like it's going to burst into laughter. He has that kind of face.
Yep.
It was very hard to be straight. And James Daly, oh my God. James Daly was Tyne Daly's father, and, you know, wonderful actor.
Oh, that's right.
Wearing his leotard tights, and we just looked at each other. I'm wrapped up in this beautiful piece of cloth, and we said, "What are we doing? We're actors from Broadway, you know. What are we?" Little did we know. And James said, "It's Christmas money. It's Christmas money." You know,
I love that.
We didn't know what we were. It was so new. Nobody knew what this show was going to be.
And television was very different then, right? It's not like now. There's so much of it.
Yes, it's true.
There's so much of it. It's like we're inundated with so many shows. But that was really and boy, did that take off. That really took off. So what do you have here, Leo?
This is Gloria. What's her name's?
I don't know what Leo's showing there.
This is IMBD, just to look at a wonderful.
Okay.
Of all the work that Louise has done, and that's a lot of work. Girl, you must be tired.
Now, let me tell you something. You know, I just thinking about, just looking at lists of things you've done.
Great shows.
I said, who the heck does she think she is doing all this stuff?
I don't know. I would say I should be dead because I can't believe what you're rolling there.
Listen, let me tell you something. You better not be dead, because we need more good stuff. Because we need more good stuff. And you know what? This is what this is about. And I heard you say this on another interview, and it really stayed with me, and we talked before the show. But you said many, many, many things. Like, I'm going to have to go back and watch that interview again. But what I love the most that you said was, I'm just present. You know, like the interviewer said, do you realize all these things you've done? And you said, you know, yes, sometimes I do, and but I'm just present. Like you really are so down to earth, and you really are in your body, and you're experiencing the day to day. You're not caught in your head. You're not. I mean, from what I get from you, from speaking to you. So, how does one stay as humble as you have stayed with all of these amazing things that you've done?
Well, I don't know if I'm. Well, I guess I sort of. Yeah.
I think you're very humble.
Because artists just go about their work. You go to do the work because you like it, and then it's done, and you go to the next thing. And I've never, I have to say also, I was brought up. My father was a Hollywood film producer, so I was at the studios like a little girl looking around, and I sort of was around it a lot, so I wasn't very impressed after a while because that's what my father did. Mm-hmm. Then I left home at 18 to go study, and I thought, well, you study, and then if you're lucky, somebody hires you, and then you get the next job, and then hopefully the next job. And it's the job that you do, and then you go home.
Right.
I've done a little press, but I've never bought into that a lot, even though it probably would be very helpful to me if I did more, but I'm not, I don't know. I'd rather be with a dog or read a book or be with my friends or go on a trip or something.
Yeah, but I like that. That makes you real. To me, that makes you a real creative person. I mean, look at how many people just their stars burn very bright, very quickly, and then it's over. I mean, you are just you have been doing so many beautiful things. If I were, if we use the analogy of a burning, very, these quick, bright lights, they're like the biggest thing happening. And then you're like, who? A few years later. But what you are is you're like these, no, stop that. Because if you're old and I'm old and I refuse to get old, Louise, cut it out. We're not old. Listen, we know a lot of stuff. That's all. Mm-hmm. We have seen it and we have been there. And I personally love it. But I would like if you took every job that and artistic thing that you have done, it's like this just tier of lights. More and more and more lights. It's beautiful. It's just like it goes on and on and on. So I mean, that's how I see it. To me, that is a true artist. Someone that has not just done something really quick, made all their money, blew up, and then just exited the business. You just stayed in it and stayed in it and stayed in it.
Yeah, well, creating. There are wonderful people in it. I was lucky. I mean, I was never, it might have seemed that way, but I was never obsessed about if I don't have a job, if I'm not working as an actor, I'm no one. And I think I got some gifts from my mother about that. She was a painter, pianist, and actress, and yet she had a certain solidity in life, earthbound, even though she was a grande dame, frankly. But she was going to be the new Garbo. They announced her as the new Garbo. So I'd been around a lot, and it was like, well, you just do your job, and you meet wonderful people. And sometimes you get to go fabulous places, and it's hard work, but that's all. That's what it is. And then you go home. You're just a person doing something. That's fun.
Okay, so of all the places that you said you get to travel in, of all the places that you have traveled to for work, was there a place that stayed with you where you felt like, I've been here before. This place is very special to me.
I didn't get to travel, I must say, for work that much. I worked in Brazil, which is beautiful. That was an interesting group. And in Canada, 2 or 3 times. The other travel I did was myself, just going on a trip. I wasn't. Yeah, I would love to have been working all over the world. I would have done that, but that's not where.
Well, you had to be where you had to be to film. I mean, so you did. Let's go through it. I mean, there's a lot of it. We're not going to go through all of it because you know what, Louise? I don't have that kind of time. You are just too big for this show. But you did Days of Our Lives on and off for how many decades?
No, it was 1992 when I first went on. Okay. And then I kind of carried it to, I guess I went to 2000. And then, they drop you, then they bring you back, and everybody thinks you're dead, and then you come back. I didn't die. I never died. I killed somebody, but I never died.
I love that.
So, no, I didn't kill her. That's a lie. But, yeah, from 92, And then just recently I went back for a couple of shows, but during COVID and everything, they called me, but I didn't want to get on a plane. I don't
blame you. I don't blame you. Yeah, I personally think planes were some of the worst places to be. I mean, you can't go anywhere. You can't escape. No. Mask or no mask. That was not a good time to travel. So I'm sure you made the right decision. But now you're back you were back for a few episodes, and are you back?
I did 10 shows a few weeks ago.
That's a lot of shows.
It was a lot in 2 weeks. I can tell you.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah. I can see why. I'm saying this. I hope it doesn't sound snotty, but I can see why they want that character back, because she's only villainous, and I sort of try to make her funny once in a while. And it's a very specific character, and it's enjoyable. I hope.
Yeah. It's great, and villains are they're fun. They're so much fun, and they're so juicy, and everyone remembers the villain. Yeah. Everybody, but true. The thing about you and villains is your people root for you. They root for you, whereas they may think, what is she doing? Why is she causing all this drama? But they're secretly rooting for you.
Well, don't you think everybody wants to be able to do those things? I think that part of it is you get to, you don't play a, hello?
Yeah, that's okay. Leo's pulling up the pic. Oh my God, there you are with the gun. Look at you.
Oh God, I have to say something about that. When they ask me to use a gun, I have a thing about guns. I don't like them. I don't think we should present them on shows, even though, of course, we have Law and Order now. They have to have guns. Mm-hmm. But I thought I was very not happy about holding a gun. So I asked if I could do it like this with my finger. They were not amused.
You're right. You said, "Can I mime the gun?" And they were
yes, I was absolutely no, Louise. Anyway, I think the fact that everybody wants to play a villain for fun, and then you sort of enjoy it when somebody's getting away with murder, literally, sometimes.
Yeah.
And also the character, luckily, I had some very good writing early on, which was comedic, or I saw it that way. So I think that people respond to that because it's not just you don't play villain. You play somebody who wants something, however they have to get it.
Oh, I love that.
Play the villain. So that works when you don't, you know what I mean?
Well, you know what? That makes total sense, because as an actor, absolutely, you're not thinking, I'm the villain.
Right.
Maybe if you weren't a great actor, you'd be thinking, okay, I'm going to play the villain now. But what you're thinking is the journey of that character, right?
Yes.
So that a character, like you said, wants something, right? Wants to get from A to B. Mm-hmm. And, I heard once from someone that I really respected artistically, they said there are really two fears in this world. And this is what you come from. We all come from this. You either are afraid to lose what you have, or afraid of not getting what you want. And every fear comes from that. So, like what you're talking about, getting to the other side of that. So, but what you are creating, that internal life that you're creating, is amazing. And what we get to see is what is perceived as a villain. But I love that. She's just trying to get what she wants, right?
Yeah, and if you look at I'm not comparing myself, I'm just saying, if you look at old movies and like Bogart, not that anything terrible, but Edward G. Robinson, they were just full characters doing what they needed to do, but they didn't do the, you know what I mean?
Right.
Play that. They just did what they had to do.
Right.
And I think that's the catch, is that you can't play that. You don't even want to think. You don't think of yourself that way.
Right.
So you're thinking about, this character I have to do this. So it's a fine line, I think.
Now, you've done a ton of stage work, a ton of theater work, and that was when you came to New York and you started working right away, right?
Oh, no, I had 2 years at the Neighborhood Playhouse.
Okay.
And then I was blessed with this amazing agent who didn't know me from Adam, and she said, well, I don't know what you can do, but I'm sending you out. It was very New York.
Yeah.
I didn't know who she was. It was the William Morris office, which I found out was a big agency, and I got The first, she sent me up for a comedy called Take Her, She's Mine.
Mm-hmm.
She told me I have to go and meet with the casting lady, etc. I did that, and then she asked me to come back. And I just, I wasn't taking it seriously because I thought, I'm not good. I was 21.
Oh, right.
So I read for George Abbott, and I got it.
Wow.
But I can't even explain the feeling. I mean, I was shocked when she called me and said I had the job. But I don't know. That's what you did. You went, you auditioned, and hopefully you got it.
But you did the next right thing. You were present.
I was. I remember specifically how I conducted myself that day, which may have had something to do with it. I don't know.
Would you say that you got some of that from your mom? Because,
Absolutely.
That discipline and that just, like you said, I conducted myself.
Snooty.
Well, there's a certain, level of dignity that comes with
dignity.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I get from it. Like your mom sounds to me like a woman of incredible art and talent and dignity.
Yeah.
So, we learn from our parents.
Yeah, and people have said, when did you, who gave you advice? Nobody. I just left home.
Right.
And I just wended my way to the rehearsal club, which doesn't exist anymore, but that's in a famous movie called Stage Door.
I love that movie.
Yeah, and that's where my first place in New York.
Wow.
They got thrown out. But then Neighborhood Playhouse for 2 years with Martha Graham teaching.
Incredible.
And then, I'm going to audition for something. Very lucky because, a lot of actors have to wait a long time or they have to do a lot of things to survive.
Yeah.
And I was blessed. I had nothing to do with it other than I put myself forth and somebody decided they thought I would be right for it.
Right. And when did the soaps start? Because, as you said, a lot of Broadway actors were doing soaps, right?
Yeah. Well, that was for income.
Right, yeah.
Broadway wasn't paying that much, and a lot of them just supplemented their income. Was the question?
When did you start doing soaps? When?
Oh, much later. Yeah, well, 1984, Santa Barbara. And I never thought of doing one. I had never seen one.
Really?
I was saying soaps, and I said, I didn't know what it was.
Wow.
Then I saw Dame Judith Anderson.
I love it.
I read the script, and I said, what's wrong with it? And then we started working like we were doing a play. Right. And I said, what's wrong with this?
Exactly.
That show particularly worked creatively. And that was the first soap I ever did. And,
you did that for a few years, right?
I did Santa Barbara only for 2 years, and then I was pulled to New York to do One Life to Live because I really wanted to be in New York.
Yeah.
And so I went and did that for a year, and I quit. Wow. And then I went to Paris, and then I came back to Santa Barbara.
Now, I have to stop for a second. Our friend Wayne Gilbert, who's an incredible musician, he just yelled out with all, and I know Wayne, so I'm sure he yelled at the top of his lungs, Raina! You see? So people remember Raina. I'm telling you. Yes, Wayne, she is really here. Jill Anderson, my very good friend from Morristown, New Jersey, says after GH, I think. So you were also on General Hospital?
No, I did there was a second part of General Hospital, which had a name, I can't remember. I did.
Was it Port Charles?
That was it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just did a day or two on that.
But you really were one of the few actors that I can remember that could do different soap operas. I mean, most people stayed on one soap opera and they were one character, but you could be plugged into different things and play different roles.
Yeah, but
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, give yourself some credit there, Louise. I know you don't want to.
No,
everybody, can we give Louise some credit since she won't do it? I mean, that's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Heard that going onto soap operas was sometimes hell for other actors because of the like it was theater. They were just creative to be on their feet and get the line changes and such. So I heard it was very difficult to do that.
It is a hard thing to learn because you're not used to now. If I told you the way they're working, no human being could do what they're doing now, these poor actors. But then you got to rehearse in the morning, and then you'd have a dress rehearsal, and then by about 4:00 in the afternoon, you were so familiar with what you were doing, and of course, you're not doing a whole show in one. Well, you are doing, but you're only one character in a whole show.
Right.
You know, you can concentrate on your stuff the night before, sometimes last minute, and it's tough. And I found that the people who had a really bad problem with it were in New York. They were sometimes doing Broadway shows.
Oh, wow.
And then running to do a daytime show. That's hard.
That is really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend that was, my friend Joe Barbara, that was in a soap for a few years. And he told us all, this is the hardest thing I've ever done.
It is hard for a lot of people, and it's harder now because the money is different, the time frame is different, and if I told you, I mean, I did 10 shows in less than 2 weeks, and I was like, I never left my hotel room. I just
well, how can you? How can you? You have to learn your lines, right?
Yeah, no, it was terrifying, and sometimes you get monologues, and there are no more cue cards, by the way. They used to
really?
Nothing.
Why?
You just they don't want to either pay for the cue card person. They don't want to take the time anymore. It's all very, very fast, and not very much rehearsal. You just have to go in and pray. And I'm not blaming anyone. It's just
it's just the way the business has changed. I mean, even so many shows.
That's why a lot of them have come off the air because they were so expensive, and to keep that going are my favorite ones. But
which was yours?
I grew up with One Life to Live.
Oh, okay.
My mom left me home to clean the house, and guess what happened? And then from that, all my children and a little bit of General Hospital. But One Life to Live was my favorite.
Okay, Vicky.
Yeah. Well, and I can only imagine she's the one that had the many characters.
She had a lot.
Yeah, and Days of Our Lives was the big one too in our house. Growing up, all the Italian ladies, they were hooked on the.
Oh, really?
Hooked on this. Oh, yeah. They were hooked on the soaps, all of them. I mean, we all grew up with the soap. As soon as you got home from school, they were on.
Yeah.
My stories.
The stories, they used to call them. I watched my stories. And then all the women, I'm sure every ethnic group can tell these stories. They would get together on the weekends and they would talk about characters. And as kids, we thought they were real people because they would say, "Did you hear what happened to Marlena?" Or and we'd be like, "What?" We'd be eavesdropping. But it was so much drama. But it was such a part of all our lives.
Well, I heard stories about a couple of friends of mine who were playing characters that were a little, obstreperous, and one of them got smacked in a department store.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Smacked her.
What?
I know.
Crazy. I can only imagine. I think I heard that may have been Dorian, or one of Dorian's characters.
It wasn't Dorian. It wasn't Robin. I think it was. I honestly, I can't remember who. It was a friend of somebody I know.
I've heard that story, though. I've heard that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
That's that person that they know, and they get upset with them.
Yeah, of course. For whatever reason. I mean, that to me is so funny.
Yeah, and luckily nobody ever. I think they're scared.
and you know what? People would never call them by their actor names.
No,
forever remain. Have people ever yelled anything out to you in the street, like your actor name? I mean, your character name? Or do they know that's Louise Sorel?
On occasion, somebody will say, Vivian? Oh, here's the one. This is the best one, okay? I was driving on the 405 in Los Angeles to go visit a friend in La Jolla, and I got horrible pains. So I had to pull off the road. I was driving a Jeep in this fast lane. I pulled off the road, and I ran into a motel there because I had to get to a ladies' room. Mm-hmm. And I was frightened. It was actually kidney stone. I didn't know what it was.
Wow.
So anyway, they got me to a hospital down the road in an ambulance. And I threw myself on the floor because you're such pain, you just want to die or crawl away or something. And I'm down on the floor, holding my guts. And the nurse came in with a note paper and pencil. And she said, "Excuse me," and I turned around. She went, Vivian? No, wrong place for this. Wrong.
Oh my God!
I'll never forget it. I could have been dying. I thought I was dying.
That is
just like frozen with your pad. Oh God.
Oh my God! I love that. You could have been dying. It's like Vivian. Oh, that's perfect. That should be in a sitcom.
It was pretty funny.
Oh my God. Yeah, cause I can imagine, people see certain things, and I also remember the movie Soap I always loved that movie.
Yeah.
Because it talked about the other parts of things, it was just like, but now you're very funny. I mean, you have a wonderful sense of humor.
Dark.
Yeah. Do you enjoy doing comedy? Is that something you'd like to do more of?
I do, and because I was this dark, I was never getting that except for Rickles, and another series I did with Larry Pressman called Ladies' Man, where I was a, kind of Candy Bergen character from her show. That's what I really love.
Yeah.
But, I don't get to do it enough.
I was going to say, because I know where you were going with this. You were going to say, I don't have that look. I disagree. I think that, I would love to see you in more comedies.
Me too.
Yeah, because you're really, really funny.
My first Broadway show, I was doing a kind of Betty Davis for George Abbott. It was a college graduate,
Right.
But I had all the great lines. And I got the laughs because George said, Mr. Abbott, said, walk on stage, spit it. My first line was, this place is a goddamn nunnery. This was in college. And I had a long cigarette holder. It was great for a first show. And he just said, walk up, walk back, hold it, and you'll get it. And boy, the laughs just kept going.
Yes.
He knew what he knew.
Doesn't that feel good when people laugh? That's the best feeling. So, Louise, what I just thought of? I don't know if I wish that you would do a one-woman show. Would you ever think about writing a show?
I had an idea for something, and I actually was working with a very interesting writer. Then I don't know what happened, but I wanted to do a show about all my dogs and have them all. I was going to have cutouts of every dog in my life on the stage, and then a huge wagon with all kinds of accoutrement of my life and baggage and all of that. And it was going to be that kind of presentation about a life.
I love it.
It was going to be fun, not I'm this, I'm that, but the story of what had happened to me.
I love that.
I didn't go through it, but I've done a lot of writing, which I'm being yelled at to put it together because I just get lazy, admittedly. I do.
Well, you know what I find, because I do the same thing. It's not that we get lazy. I think we get slightly overwhelmed because life happens while we're creating, right?
Yeah, and particularly now, I think there's such agita. Some people don't let it. I'm so amazed at certain people who they just stay in their creative world, and I'm running around saying, my God, the world's going to end. Look what's going on in the Ukraine.
I know.
From Ukraine. My grandfather was from Odessa.
Wow, really?
I'm just all over the place. So
but that would bother me. That's a trigger right there to see that every day. Like if this was happening in Italy, I've said this to my relatives. That sometimes friends that say, oh, it's not happening. I said, this is Europe. Our families are in Italy. It's right next door. If this was happening, of course we care. Of course we care. Of course it affects us. But going back to the show, like, I think your life is so interesting. Like, I would love to see that show. And the thing is, to tell a story of, look, let's really think about when you started acting as a woman in the business, how much has changed for women alone, right? I mean, you talk about the history of just women, and what you've seen, what you've gone through, and for better or for worse, and the joys and the struggles. To me, that's, as a woman, that's interesting.
Yeah, you're right. I never thought of that way. Man, I was thinking of the book I haven't written is called my life with dogs and other men.
Oh,
I'll just leave you.
that's fantastic. I'm getting it on Audible. That's it. Let me know when it is. I have 3 credits. You'll be one of them. I love that. Okay, so let's just take a moment. D from D's Enlightened Edit says, sometimes a project needs time to marinate or for new pieces of the puzzle to come in, and we feel guilty about taking a break while it's processing. The good ideas always come back around. Great. And also, I know I keep many books. And I write, even if it's one line, because I'm also a songwriter, and sometimes I'll think of one line. I won't use it for years, but I do end up using it. We're going to take a moment because I have to do the food section of our show.
Oh, good.
Louise, I'm so glad you're here for it. It's called Go Ahead, Keep Eating. So on the count of 3, we're all going to say that. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead, keep eating. Okay, so in order to stay creative, and ask other people to stay creative, I must continue to do that every week. So my way of doing it is I cook every week. And I used to have people in the studio before COVID. I mean, now I should have people back. But I just cook for myself. And if people do come in, Louise, you are always invited to my house for dinner.
Okay.
So I know Amanda McBroom said she's coming back into town in September.
Yes. Oh, my God. I worship that woman.
You want to come over? Okay. So you, me, Amanda McBroom will invite Lori and John if Leo's in town.
I'm saving money now.
I'll make us a nice dinner. Okay, so tonight, what did I make? These are sea scallops, and they I have to always read because I forget what I put in it because I forget things. Scallops marinated in saffron, lemon, garlic, rosemary oil, shallots, and peppers.
Is Leo getting some of that?
Yeah, well, Leo's in California, so he's...
Oh, that won't work.
Yeah.
I'm trying, but I can't reach the plate.
I know. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, Leo's trying to get...
Take one.
For my salad, I always make a delicious salad because I love salads. Thank God for salads, otherwise I'd be 4,000 pounds. But I do enjoy salads. So Boston lettuce, because I am doing my show in Boston. Everything's themed for me in life. I'm doing my show in Boston next Thursday, folks. By the way, it's almost sold out. There's about 12 seats left. So get your tickets. Anyway, this is Boston lettuce with red baby beets, gorgonzola cheese with Amaro cherries. And gorgonzola cheese. And then we have red peppers. I'm going to put a Sicilian lemon balsamic vinegar on this and a Tuscan herb olive oil.
Oh, that's going to go great with the gorgonzola.
Yes.
Maria, Lori's watching. Remind us again about Boston lettuce.
Boston lettuce. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Do you write all this down so people can get your recipes?
I do write it down, but I'm one of those cooks that kind of I call it a kitchen sink cook.
Yeah,
I just throw in.
Italian. My best friend's Italian, and she cooks like that.
Okay, you know why? Because our mothers were the original chopped.
She grew up in a restaurant. Her parents had a restaurant.
Yeah, and that's what they did back then. They didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to do." Our mothers would say, "What's in the refrigerator?" "No, I'm not buying anything." "What is in there? What is in the cabinet? This is what I'm making." And they just created things. Once in a while, they'd say, "Go out to the garden and get some parsley or basil." You always had to go get basil. And then because I'm still on the keto, this is all keto friendly, by the way. I am having honeydew melon. Now, after Louise, I'm going to confess to you that after my show in Boston on the 18th, I'm going to eat like a pig. I have been so good for like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Just so I can fit into those damn pants. But after that, it's my birthday weekend. I'm going to eat as much cake as I want.
Is Rena going to have after the show, you're going to have a little snack?
Snack? My cousin Rena, I'm staying over her house afterwards, and my musical director, Lynn Portish, genius, and I are staying over Rena's, and we're going to, I'm sure, have snacks. And then we got to get back in the morning, get back in the car and drive back because we're both working that night. We're both musicians and we're working. So you know how that is. I'm no Louise Sorel that does 10 shows in 2 weeks, but I do have to get back to work. You know how that is. So, so Louise, let's talk about food now. So, are you a foodie, or are you more someone that, can take or leave?
Yeah, I like to cook. I used to do a lot of that in LA because I had a place that sort of lent itself to that. I have a much smaller place here, and I can do it, but I don't. I'm just alone with my dog. I used to be with a lot of other people around.
Yeah.
But I like to cook. But I have a couple of friends who are obsessive cooks. I mean,
really?
One of them is, I mean, when she went on a trip recently to Europe, all I heard about was the food.
Right.
And what she ate, such a whatever. And then she comes home and she does all very detailed work. Wow. I don't do it anymore because I'm not in, I'm alone here with the dog, and I don't care that much. I have to watch Jeopardy.
Oh,
so I eat dinner with Jeopardy, and just something that I don't have to pay a lot of attention to because I have to watch. The Masters are on right now.
Yep,
they're so brilliant. It's terrifying.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even understand the questions, let alone the answers.
Right, you're right.
Didn't go anyway. Enough about that. Food. I love food. I love Italian food particularly.
Okay, what's your favorite Italian food? Because I will make it when you come over.
Well, it's so ridiculously basic. I mean, I love all of it, but I've always wanted to eat a pizza.
Okay, who doesn't? That's a delicious thing.
Pasta, and a lot of different things.
What kind of pasta do you like? Do you like red sauce or do you like?
I like red, but I have stomach issues, so I have to be a little careful.
Yeah,
I love garlic. Garlic to me is perfume.
It's beautiful.
It's my favorite smell. Garlic and onions are my
Yes. Oh my God, that is it. That is the trilogy.
You can do anything with
olive oil, garlic, and onion. That's it.
Yeah, that's a basic. That's like Mexican. That's Italian. That's a.
Yes, exactly.
That's the mama coming in and saying, "You're going to eat." What? No, sit down and eat.
You don't even listen. We never had to be told to eat. My mother's food was the greatest food I ever had in my life.
Oh.
She just was the most. That's how I learned to cook. And during the pandemic, because I couldn't work, everything was closed. Right, I started cooking, and that's what I did to generate income. I started cooking and. Yeah, I had people that I cooked for, so I love cooking. Makes me happy.
Yeah. If you have, the accoutrement, you have everything. Sometimes, if it's, close, you can do it. But it's so nice when you look at like Rachel Ray or whatever with the equipment that they have.
Oh, of course.
And everything is so perfectly set up so that nothing ever goes wrong. It's really annoying.
It's so annoying. But they have people to do that. They have all their.
That's right.
Production magic.
We can't ask our dogs to do that for us. So. Okay, so I always ask people this. So what is your reward? Like if you do something amazing, so let's say at the end of your 2 weeks and you've done your 10 shows in LA, it's exhausting. Do you have a reward you give yourself? Like what kind of would you ever say like, okay, I've done this, I've gotten through it, I'm going to take
myself a glass of white wine.
Okay, beautiful. So that's and what kind of white wine do you like?
Oh, I like Pinot Grigio.
Okay.
I like whites.
Yeah.
And what else? I'm trying to think of what else I like.
Are you more of a dry white or?
Yes, I like a dry wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, because Amanda McBroom enjoys wine as well, so we have to get a nice bottle of wine when you come over.
Well, we'll bring you some wine.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah. I'll do the food. Okay, and was there anything growing up that you had to eat that you hated? Like, what's your, oh, no, I'll never do that?
No, because my mother, she was from Egypt.
Oh,
and the food growing
really?
up. Yes.
Wonderful.
And so the food was, what I knew was what she cooked. I mean, she would do beef stews, and she would do stroganoff.
Beautiful.
And a lot of, she was a very good cook. Or big barley, huge pots of soup.
I love it.
Food. And she did it because she had to, because she was the wife with 2 children.
Right.
But my grandparents lived with us, and they always had some wonderful, interesting. I'm trying to think of something that I loved that my grandmother would make. Eggplant salad. Eggplant salad with oil and garlic.
Oh, wow.
And I just put it on a huge piece of bread.
Like a baba ganoush?
Yeah, it was like going to their dessert.
Oh,
but
I love it.
It was never sweets. It was always eggplant salad.
I understand. I get that.
My mother didn't buy ice cream. She bought ice milk. So I had to sneak away to get, a good humor bar or something. We didn't have no ice cream.
That sounds beautiful, though. That sounds great.
European cooking.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like back then, so many people migrated from different, from Europe and from that part of the world, and so everything in America was, we were kids that were growing up around these Europeans, right? So we took all that in. I feel like that's so beautiful. I'm so grateful for that.
Louise, isn't there an Egyptian dish it's like pasta fagioli, I thought, with the pasta and beans and the meat with the Egyptian herbs?
I don't know if that's Egyptian. I don't know. I mean, we didn't eat Egyptian food, but we just, and it was a hodgepodge of things. It was all over the place.
Yeah, but I love those stews. I love stews.
Yeah, but now, of course, I don't eat any animals.
Oh, okay, good to know. So you're vegetarian?
Yeah, I'm pretty much so. I'm not a vegan.
Okay.
But once in a while, I realize people say, "Where's the protein?" And I don't want to see a bowl of beans for dinner. So once in a while, I eat some chicken. But I now have a friend who has a pet chicken named Pie. Now I can't possibly eat chicken.
I know. I have a friend that raises chickens, and he doesn't raise them for any other reason other than they're his pets.
Yeah. She's got one chicken named Pie. She's an actress on Days of Our Lives.
I love it.
She goes in the car with her. She brought her to my hotel room.
Really?
Sleeps with her.
Oh, my God. I know. Animals are amazing. Animals are amazing.
I love chicken.
Okay, we are incredibly coming to the end of our show, but hold on a second. I just want to look through and scroll and see if anybody
listened.
No, everybody listened, I'm sure, and they're going to watch it again. If anybody had any questions, but I think people were just really listening, mostly.
Yeah.
And talking about all the different shows that you have been on. So let's recap this. Okay, so you were, give us your characters again and what show?
Oh, wait a minute. You mean this is
the soaps? For the soaps, yeah.
Oh, so, well, Augusta Lockridge in Santa Barbara and Vivian Alamain in Days of Our Lives.
Love it.
And then I don't remember, Judith Sanders on One Life to Live.
Yes.
And I did a couple of little things, but I don't remember what they were.
Yeah, but I mean, those were the main soap because people have been mentioning them. So, and everybody is just saying wonderful things, great show. And lots of our friends are watching and enjoying. And Mandar really behaved himself. He's one of our regulars. I call him Mandar Chick Magnet. He's always flanked by beautiful women. And tonight he just was very well behaved. So thank you, Mandar. I appreciate it. And you will get a present from me at some point.
Louise, what season was your Charlie's Angels? I don't.
Oh God, I have no idea. I don't know. I know that Farrah was not there, so it was after Farrah.
It was after Farrah, so probably season 2 or 3.
That in the late 80s, right? That had to be the late 80s.
That was late 70s.
Before that. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I watched them over and over again, so I just have to go back and remember. They're one of my favorite.
I'm so sorry, Leo.
No worries.
He loves that stuff. He loves it.
I was raised on television. I love television, and I keep telling Maria, the way that we've been doing this podcast is kind of like a rebirth of a new television era for a lot of people that are podcasting. That's why it's so much fun to do it with her. But I was raised by TV, so all these shows, Banachek, I watch all these. Ironside, great show that you.
Banachek! Oh my God, George!
Right,
George wore his clothes. Never mind.
Okay, but you know what? But you had a lot of leading men, or a lot of very good leading men. Was there ever one that you were like, smitten with?
No. Really.
Can you say it?
Oh, it's funny because it's not smitten. It was just George C. Scott.
George C. Scott.
I mean, I was like, I could barely. I was on stage with him and just got.
I love
line
that.
in Winter, and his wife Colleen was there doing it, and so she had a line where she said, "I want to see you kiss her," to George, to him, and every night it was like, "Oh, please, one really good one." I was the sexiest man ever, and then I loved Charles Boyer. We were friends when I worked with him in London and New York. Charming man. There were a lot of really Walter Pidgeon, heaven. He gave me a limerick that I don't think I can repeat
I think you could say it here.
You can say it here.
Again?
Yeah.
Yep.
This is Walter Pigeon at dinner one night. Walter Pigeon, this elegant Canadian person. Well, his limit was, hello, I met a young man from Boston. He bought himself a new Austin. There was room for his ass and a gallon of gas, but his balls fell out and he lost them. This is Walter Pigeon. At dinner.
That's great.
Beautiful.
And you remembered it.
Oh, I'll never forget it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing from this man. And Arts Carney was another lovely one.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I adored him. What a sweetie.
Oh, how nice to know, because he was so lovable to watch.
Oh, He was like, that's who he was.
Isn't that beautiful?
Very humble. I'd walk down the street with him and he'd go, hey, Art, hey, Artie, or Ed Norton, right?
Right.
And he would, he's like, this is so sweet.
Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? Well, Louise, what an amazing string of beautiful lights your career and life have been. And I'm so happy that you took the time to come on the show.
My pleasure.
And we get to talk about it. This is so great. Now, you're like the ultimate creative, right? And most of our people that watch the show are creative people in one way or another. And I always like to leave them with some kind of inspiration. So what would you just tell people that maybe are feeling like, I don't know, I don't feel inspired right now. Maybe I should give up. Or what would you do?
No, I think, I hear this. I think anybody who loves humans and loves the arts and has dreams and had dreams, like that, the best thing you can do is whatever it is you need to, don't give. I mean, I hear this almost every day from someone who's either had a terrible thing happen to them, whatever. The message is, if you want something that you love, you want to do it, do it. However do it with dedication. I just finished Chita Rivera's book.
Oh,
it's such a lesson. There's a woman who committed, like, ferocious and a spectacular human being. And she taught every book I've read about, usually from an actor or somebody in the arts, you get the feeling they're pushing you forward. There's, look what you can do. Mm-hmm. And don't let other people tell you can't. Until if you want to give up, you're entitled. But don't let people step on you or crush you, or it's not the way to live a life.
Right.
And I've been lucky with the people I've worked with. They've been very kind and current. The other thing is, don't be. So many people are jealous. That is deadly. Mm-hmm. Be happy for somebody who gets a job.
Right.
Sometimes it's the job you wanted. But I have a friend, Jessica Walter, who's a wonderful actress. I've lost her, but we were very similar in certain ways. She got wonderful stuff. I wish I could have done it, but she did it, and she was fabulous.
Yeah.
Always be happy for the other people. Being the negative stuff is it's not healthy.
Yeah, it's true. And lots of times we are up for similar roles. There are people that you admire it just happens. But to wish someone else well is so wonderful.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And encourage people if they say, "Oh, I'd like to do such and such." Do you really? Yes. Do it.
Do it.
Don't let anybody tell you. Some parents say, "Oh, don't do that. I don't want you to do." You have to carve that out for yourself.
Right.
And be supportive of everyone around you as well. I think that's essential.
Oh, I love that. All right. Well, Louisa, that's a perfect place to leave everyone with. What a wonderful time we had. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you again. Please come back anytime you like. And I promise I will cook for you.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're dragging Lori, too.
Yeah, I wish Amanda were around.
Well, she'll be here in September.
Oh, she's like an angel. She's like my guardian angel overhead when that voice comes out.
I know. That's of another, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
she's like channeled. I told her she's a channeler.
I think so.
Yeah.
Choices of songs, too.
Yeah, and just the way that she is a vessel for something. She's a
person to learn from, too.
Yes, and I think she's actually, to plug her, she and Michelle Brauman are teaching a songwriters workshop in Tuscany
Wow.
And third week in June, they have a villa in Tuscany, and during the day you work on your music, and they have a chef there, their own chef, and during the day he makes lunch, and then he makes dinner, and they have wine and conversation. Doesn't that sound heavenly?
Yes, and I'm going to email her because my dear friend from childhood is a painter, and she lives in Città di Castello in that town. And she has a house on the hill with a pool and all of Tuscany's mountains around her. And she's American, and she's been living there for 30-something years.
Wow.
And Amanda would like her, and also her art. I've got paintings of hers here. So, and I'm going there maybe November or something. But I'm going to write Amanda in case she has...
Do it. I'm sure she'll be so happy to hear from you. Yeah, I think the week, it's the week of the 24th, if I'm not mistaken. But we have it posted on our show page. Okay. So Amanda McBroom and Michelle Brown are teaching a masterclass in songwriting. So Louise, thank you so much. What a pleasure to have you. Thank you. And also after that, I'm sorry, Leo, I didn't mean to interrupt. This is going to be on YouTube. It was running on YouTube. It's on, of course, our show pages. You can share it anywhere you like, folks. Feel free to share it. And also, it goes into podcasts in about 12 hours. It's Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. So you can re-listen to Louise as many times as you like on all of those platforms.
Okay, ciao Bella.
Ciao Bella, grazie per tutto.
Bye Leo.
Thank you everybody.
Bye, thank you Louise.
Take care.
Let me end, Brunch.